The auction hall on Frontier Station Epsilon reeked of desperation and greed. Holographic displays flickered above caged creatures from a dozen worlds, each one labeled with genetic profiles, projected lifespans, and estimated combat ratings. Merchants from across the galaxy gathered here monthly, seeking exotic pets, guard beasts, or gladiatorial stock for the fighting pits that still operated in the lawless outer sectors. Liam Carter stood at the back of the crowd, his worn jacket marking him as someone who didn't belong among the jewel-draped traders and chrome-suited corporate buyers. At 19, he was supposed to be salvaging scrap metal from derelict ships like his father before him. Instead, he'd spent 3 months' savings on a shuttle ticket to this station, driven by a rumor he'd heard in a spacer's bar, that sometimes, just sometimes, you could find a companion worth more than credits at these auctions. The auctioneer, a multi-limbed Vexarian with voice modulators that made every word sound like a command, gestured toward a large cage being wheeled onto the platform. Inside, a creature lay motionless in the shadows. Lot 847, the auctioneer announced with barely concealed disdain. Designation, Caro. Species, Fenric's hound from the outer reaches. Age 4 standard years. Combat rating, formerly classified as Alpha Tier. The auctioneer paused, mandibles clicking in what Liam had learned was the Vexarian equivalent of a sneer. Current status, rejected. Refused to attack sentient targets during training. Genetic defect suspected. Starting bid, 50 credits, the crowd murmured with disinterest. A guard beast that wouldn't attack was worthless. Several merchants laughed outright. Liam pushed forward, his heart hammering. In the cage, he could now see the creature clearly. Caro was massive, easily the size of an earth lion, with midnight blue fur that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. 6 legs ending in retractable claws, eyes that glowed with an inner amber light, currently dim with what Liam recognized as crushing defeat. The hound's ears, tall and swept back like a wolf's, lay flat against its skull. 50 credits, Liam called out, his voice cracking slightly. The auctioneer's multiple eyes swiveled toward him. 50 credits to the human in the back. Going once? Don't waste your money, kid, a Krillian merchant growled from nearby. That thing's broken. Won't even make decent meat, and going twice. 50 credits, the auctioneer declared with finality. Sold to the human. May you find some use for this failure. Liam's quarters on the station were barely large enough for himself, let alone a creature of Caro's size. The hound had to curl up tightly just to fit, its massive form taking up most of the floor space. For the first 2 days, Caro didn't move except to drink water. Didn't eat, didn't acknowledge Liam's presence. On the 3rd day, Liam sat down cross-legged in front of the hound and spoke quietly. I know you can understand me. The genetic profile said Fenric's have human-level intelligence. He pulled out a ration bar and broke it in half, eating one piece and offering the other. I'm not looking for a weapon, Caro. I'm not looking for a guard beast. I just thought you deserved better than dying in that cage. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then slowly Caro's amber eyes lifted to meet his. There was an intelligence there that made Liam's breath catch, ancient, sorrowful, and achingly aware. Caro took the offered food with surprising gentleness, teeth that could shred plasteel carefully accepting the bar from Liam's palm. They called you broken, Liam continued, his voice thick with emotion. But refusing to hurt innocent people isn't broken. It's called having a conscience. On Earth, we'd call that being a good boy. The hound's ears twitched forward slightly, the first sign of life beyond mere survival that Liam had seen. Over the following weeks, something remarkable happened. Caro began to recover, not just physically but spiritually. The hound followed Liam everywhere, 6-legged gait surprisingly graceful in the station's corridors. Other residents gave them a wide berth, but Liam noticed something they didn't. Caro was always positioned between him and potential threats, always watching, always protective, but never aggressive without cause. The bond between them deepened in ways Liam couldn't fully explain. Sometimes he swore he could feel Caro's emotions at the edge of his consciousness. Loyalty, gratitude, and an overwhelming sense of purpose finally rediscovered. The pirates came on a Tuesday. Frontier Station Epsilon had minimal security. It was a trading outpost, not a military installation. When the raiding party breached the docking bay, they moved with practiced efficiency, rounding up residents and demanding access to the vault, where merchants stored their most valuable goods. Liam had been in the market district when the alarms sounded, Caro had been with him as always. They'd taken shelter in a maintenance corridor as panicked crowds rushed past. Through the chaos, Liam heard something that made his blood run cold. Children's voices, crying, coming from the direction of the station's education wing. "We have to help them," Liam whispered. Caro's response was immediate. The hound moved toward the sounds without hesitation, and Liam followed. They found 3 pirates herding a dozen children toward the docking bay, hostages, Liam realized, to ensure compliance. The pirates hadn't expected resistance. They certainly hadn't expected a Fenrix hound, but Caro didn't attack. Instead, the hound placed itself between the pirates and the children, 6 legs planted wide, a low rumble emanating from deep within its chest. The sound was like thunder rolling through stone, a promise and a warning combined. "That's the broken hound from the auction." One pirate laughed nervously. "It won't do anything." "Can't." Liam stepped forward, his voice steadier than he felt. "You're right. Caro won't attack innocents. But you're not innocent, and those children are under our protection now." The lead pirate raised his plasma rifle. "Kid, you've got 5 seconds to—" He never finished the sentence. Caro moved with blinding speed, 6 legs propelling the hound forward in a blur of midnight blue fur. But there was precision in every movement. Claws that disabled weapons without touching flesh. Massive body that knocked pirates off their feet without causing permanent harm. Jaws that pinned arms without breaking them. Within 30 seconds, all 3 pirates were subdued, disarmed, and absolutely terrified. Station security arrived moments later to find Liam sitting with the children, all of them unharmed, while Caro stood guard over the incapacitated pirates. The hound's amber eyes were bright now, burning with purpose and pride. The story spread through the station like wildfire, then beyond. The broken Fenrix hound that had saved a dozen children without killing anyone. The young human who'd seen value in what others called worthless. Within a week, Liam received 36 messages. Some were from other owners of rejected creatures asking advice. Others were from rescue organizations across the galaxy, seeking someone who understood that compassion wasn't weakness. But the most important message came from the Fenrix homeworld itself. The elders, ancient beings who rarely communicated with other species, sent a simple statement. "The human Liam Carter has understood what we have long known, that the greatest strength lies not in the willingness to destroy, but in the courage to protect." Caro was never broken. Caro was exactly what a warrior should be. Liam read the message aloud to Caro in their quarters. Larger now, station administration had insisted on the upgrade. The hound's tail swept back and forth slowly, contentedly. "You know what this means?" Liam asked, scratching behind Caro's ears. "Everyone's going to know that you're not broken, that you never were." Caro's response was to rest his massive head on Liam's lap, amber eyes closing in perfect trust. In that moment, Liam understood something profound. Humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't their technology or their resilience or their famous stubbornness. It was their capacity to see the inherent worth in all beings, even, especially, those that others had dismissed as failures. The auction hall had called Caro defective, but Liam had seen a soul that refused to compromise its morals, even at the cost of its own survival. And in saving that soul, Liam had gained not just a companion but a brother in every way that mattered.